Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Dennis Adigunloye. Thanks for joining us. The headlines. International Women's Day in focus. Appraisal of gender mainstreaming on the front burner as Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, lauds women. Myanmar's junta chief says the country will hold its next election next year, first since the military staged a coup in 2021. Donald Trump's threat of banking restraints and tariffs comes after a Reuters report on Monday that the White House was preparing to give Russia possible sanctions relief. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has called on women to endeavor to lift each other up, one woman at a time. This is her message commemorating this year's International Women's Day. Extolling the strength and achievements of all women and girls across Nigeria and the world, the First Lady says the theme for the celebration for all women and girls, rights, equality, empowerment, serves as a powerful tool and reminder of the need to reaffirm commitment to building a society where every woman and girl can thrive free from discrimination and limitations. She notes that it is time for women to make this happen, urging them to stand up and play their part. In the meantime, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, DD, Esther Wilson-Jack, has applauded the contributions of women in nation building, saying on this International Women's Day, it is natural to celebrate the outstanding contributions and achievements of women across the globe. With this year's theme, Accelerate Action, it underscores the urgency of advancing progress in all spheres of life. Women in the civil service, she added, play a pivotal role in driving national development through their dedication, professionalism, and leadership. She encouraged women to continue to strive for excellence, seizing leadership opportunities and serving as beacons of inspiration to others. The head of the civil service noted that together, women can reaffirm their commitment to building a future where talent and potential are nurtured and every individual is empowered to contribute meaningfully to the nation's growth. And the Inter-Party Advisory Council has called for greater participation of women in politics and increased inclusion in governance. The council also demanded action that unlock equal rights and opportunities for women and commended the House of Representatives for the bill on seat reservation for women. The council, in a statement issued in Abuja, felicitated with women around the world on the occasion of this year's International Women's Day celebration with the theme for all women and girls, rights, equality, and empowerment. It's noted that Nigerian women are resilient and have contributed significantly to building a strong, united, progressive, and democratic nation, yet they remain grossly underrepresented in politics and government. The council, however, commended women's rights organizations that have been advocating for and championing inclusive governance and urged various governments and stakeholders to take action for all women and girls, unlocking gender equality and addressing issues of discrimination, harassment, and violence against them. And as the world celebrates the 2025 International Women's Day, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, extends warmest felicitations to all women across Nigeria and beyond. In a statement by Ike Neliaku, President, Chairman of Council of NIPR, he says the group firmly upholds the principle of gender equality based on merit, driven by character and competence. He says it is important to note that making true progress, either as a nation or as an organization, requires creating equitable opportunities for women to demonstrate their exceptional capabilities. He also adds that women have contributed immensely to the growth and developments of the profession and institute, and wishes to use the opportunity to celebrate outstanding Amazons for their individual and collective professional achievements. Now with me in the studio to shed more light on this day is NTA gender experts and development strategists. You're very welcome to NTA International News.
It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, just give us your general thoughts on this day. What is it expected to elicit?
Overwhelming call to action. I have not seen sufficient commitment to the call to action. A lot of calls are still going to women. It's still the old thing of telling women that they can do more. If you look at the two chambers in the National Assembly, how much can you do? 109 men, only 4 women. That is 105 over against 4. And everything is put to vote. 360 in the green chambers, and you have 13 women. So there's very little they can do. So what I say in all this is that we've been told, we've known from experience that when you talk about policies, we have very rich policies. But the policies have been described variously like an elephant standing on a clay foot. So if you're standing on a clay foot, it cannot stand because it does not carry the force of law. It is not compelling. It is when these policies are crystallized into laws, then it will help. That makes sense now that the call to action for equal opportunity bill as well as the reserved seat for women will make greater sense so that the participation can be more even and the opportunities will be created. That is the spirit of the Beijing Declaration that we are yet to see.
All right, and taking a look at the recognition of women on this day, how would you score the women folk?
We are just grateful to God that recently I was privileged to be one of the 6 that were awarded by the National Human Rights Commission. The executive secretary gave 6 of us awards for supporting and promoting gender equality and the empowerment of women. Well, we've not seen it evenly spread up to the tiers of government and the arms of government. If we're able to see that, it will make greater sense. Like the NIPR president has said that women have done well. What is left now is for the reward, because through history, if you look at what has happened over time, a lot of women have been, take for example, Speaker Ete. She promised that she will give 70% of her position to women, being the first female speaker in House of Representatives. And she gave women 70%. So what is left? Such person should be rewarded, and the women who have been put there, they should be empowered to do more, to carry the women up, like the First Lady has called that. It is why you are standing strong. You'll be able to lift other women. But if you are standing on 1 foot and you are shaking, you won't be able to carry. So women are ready. It's for society to be able to bring them in so that they can function properly and have even development.
And talking about standing strong, as you put it, would you say the Nigerian woman is at par with her counterparts around the world?
Absolutely. You can look at all the women. How did we get the first Deputy Secretary General from Nigeria? She was a minister here. She also handled an MDA before she got there, and she's doing exceptionally well. You have a Dr. Hajusani, you have a Dr. Okonjo Iweala, you have many of them. They have been able to excel because the environment is good. So we are now asking for the environment that will be motivated so that it will be easier for us to excel here at home, and we'll have more people out there that will represent us. Look at Honorable Abike Dabri. She's doing exceptionally well as a result of the opportunity that has been given to her. So why don't we give more women opportunities? If we give more women opportunity, it will be easier for them to grow and grow other women like the men are doing, because they are in large numbers, they're able to grow their own, and they are not quite looking at women. So which is not an even development. We want to be able to see even development because women have proved that they can be trusted, that they are patriotic, and that they have integrity. So what are the basic things you need for a woman, for you as a citizen to hold position of power?
Absolutely. And going forward with this advocacy, what would be your advice generally to women?
The general advice is still that, look, the laws, we have said that the laws, the policies don't carry the force of law. It is not compelling. It is mere persuasive. So let's put together every law that will empower women and put our society and put our country at par with other nations of the world, because other countries have done it, from West Africa to other parts of Africa to the other continents. They've been able to do it, and they are moving well consistently. But Nigeria is just a bit slow. So this call to action is generally for Nigeria, that we can speed up action. You will have the women in their numbers, young women, older women, and the rest. So if we're able to speed up all the action, it is easier for us to catch up with other countries. It is not impossible.
It's certainly doable. I'd like to thank you very much for your perspectives and thoughts on this. Congratulations on your award, and wish you well in your continued
grateful.
Advocacy.
Thank you, NTA, for devoting the whole of this time to women.
You're welcome. I've been talking with NTA gender expert and development strategist. Many thanks once again.
Thank you.
And still on International Women's Day, women's education empowerment is once more being projected as stakeholders met on the need to intensify efforts towards quality education and better learning outcomes. This is as the Federal Ministry of Education inaugurated committees for quality education and the Lumina Initiative for Girl-Child Education. Zenret Dingmoon reports.
School grading and upgrading, value addition, monitoring and evaluation, in addition to teachers' capacity building, are major areas being enhanced to achieve Nigeria's educational goals. Now, strengthening partnerships with the Ministries of Industry, Trade and Investment, Women Affairs, and the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, the ministry believes will better drive the action plan, ensuring the impact is far-reaching.
If you achieve parity with men in tech, it will create huge wealth and prosperity for our nation.
By investing in inclusive learning opportunities, we are not just educating individuals, we are building stronger families, resilient communities, and a more prosperous nation.
We must continue to, become innovative and creative, come up with the ideas that matter. I would like to pledge my commitment to ensuring that we work in a collaborative manner so that women and children and the vulnerable are not left behind in the education space.
The Lumina Girl-Child Initiative and the broader quality education and learning outcome programs are all targeted towards addressing out of school, the high burden of out-of-school children that we currently have in the country. These initiatives are bold steps in transforming the education landscape of our nation.
The ministry expects that the implementation stage of all these policies will be handled with the necessary precision and effectiveness. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmoon, NTA News.
So other news now. The Niger Delta youth leaders have appealed for the intervention of the National Assembly to build peace in the region. This was during a solidarity visit to the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that Deputy President of the Senate, on the other hand, received a group of defectors to the ruling APC.
The visit by the Niger Delta youths was not only for solidarity with the presidents of the Senate, it is also to express gratitude to President Tinubu for his support, which led to the emergence of a son of the Niger Delta as the number 3 citizen of Nigeria. The visit was an opportunity to meet with representatives of the region in the Red Chamber, who they urged to do something about the crisis in Rivers State. They appealed also for economic intervention from the federal government through extension of the coastal highway project to the Niger Delta, reactivation of seaports, and extension of Itakpe rail line to Abuja.
If we expand the business frontiers, especially in the seaport business, the entire Niger Delta open up for business activities, and where business activities thrive, there's a latent function that economy alone solves. Issues of insecurity.
The issue of coastal road, Mr. President had on intervention when it was launched in Lagos, directed the Minister of Works to commence those things, not only from one section, but from different sections. As I speak now, the Minister of Works has informed me that very soon I will come and join him to commence a section that will pass through some parts of the Niger Delta region towards Odukbani and Calabar.
Meanwhile, the Deputy President of the Senate, Barrow Jibrin, and the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, have received defectors from across the 19 northern states, majority of who were members of the Atiku Abubakar support group in the 2023 presidential election.
Henceforth, we will work with the government to actualize President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and lead our country to the next level of economic prosperity.
You've decided that you will come in to team up with Mr. President so that you will give your support so that he will succeed in his effort to change the trajectory of our development so that this country will become a land of El Dorado.
You are part and integral part of our great party, the APC. We are lucky that we have a leader. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the man who is a nationalist. He is not a tribalist. He is not a sectionalist. He is a man who believes in Nigeria.
The defectors were reassured that APC believes in internal democracy, respects the rule of law, and does not discriminate among members. Lami Ali, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. We'll take a short break. More reports in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has urged Nigerians, particularly the Muslim faithful, to use the month of Ramadan as a time for introspection as individuals and as families, and to make the right decisions to promote national unity. The minister was among dignitaries at the 2025 Ramadan lecture, jointly organized by leading public broadcasters in the country, the Nigerian Television Authority, the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, and the Voice of Nigeria. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports from Kaduna.
And I do hope the management of the NTA and the other sister stations will continue to uphold this very important lecture every year.
Passionate appeal from the man who is providing the right leadership in the last 2 years to the agencies under his watch, who are already making him proud with forums such as these as parts of their corporate social responsibilities for 19 years. Recommendations from the in-depth analysis of this year's lecture topic, faith, politics and power, the minister assured will come handy as parts of the narratives in seeking for solutions to the internal and external political dynamics in the country.
During this holy month of Ramadan, where families come together in supplication, reflection, solidarity, and compassion for one another, the triple effect of today's theme, viz. Faith, politics, and power, are intertwined with our yesterday, with our today, and God willing, our tomorrow. Undoubtedly, it is a phenomenon that we must all continue to navigate.
He assured that the 2025 budget of 54 trillion naira holds the key to a prosperous Nigeria.
It is an ambitious one of about 54 trillion naira, but which puts so much emphasis on national security, education, infrastructure, health, and agriculture. In addition, one of the most outstanding outcomes of the policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the creation of the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development.
He equally appealed to Muslim faithful to showcase the spirit and teachings of Ramadan to promote national unity. From Kaduna, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu congratulates his longtime ally and friend, former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, on his 68th birthday. Professor Osinbajo was Vice President of Nigeria from 2015 to 2023. President Tinubu notes that Osinbajo, a professor of law and senior advocate of Nigeria, worked harmoniously with President Muhammadu Buhari to deliver good governance and critical infrastructural projects for the country. The president recalls how the former vice president proved his mettle when he briefly acted as president while President Buhari was on a medical vacation in the United Kingdom. Describing him as a close ally, friend and brother, the president affirmed that as Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in his administration as Lagos Governor, Professor Osinbajo partnered with him to institute many political and judicial reforms in the state using the instrumentality of law. President Tinubu joins Professor Osinbajo's family, particularly his wife, Dolapo, and children, friends and associates, in wishing the erudite professor many more years of good health and a future filled with continued successes and achievements. And President Bola Tinubu sends heartfelt condolences to the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Kunle Salako, and members of his family on the loss of their beloved mother, Alhaja Fadilat Salako, who passed away on Wednesday at the age of 95. President Tinubu urges the minister to be encouraged by the legacy of hard work and family values bequeathed by his late mother, adding that the passing of a mother is always painful. No matter how long a mother has lived, it is always a painful feeling to lose one's mother. Remembering the bond of love that often exists between mother and child, you must feel sorrow at this time. Please accept my heartfelt condolences. Being a successful businesswoman and a strong adherent to the Islamic faith, Alhaja Fadilat underscored the value of hard work and dignity in labor, humility and kindness, using her resources to impact the lives of others in her immediate community and the society at large, the president noted. He says, may Allah in his infinite mercy reward Alhaja Fadilat for her good deeds and grants her place in Al-Jannat Firdausi. He prays that God gives her the entire family and the strength to bear this irreparable loss. Myanmar's junta chief says the country will hold an election in December or January the 1st since the military staged a coup back in 2021. Charles Alpha reports.
Images released by Myanmar state media show junta chief Min Aung Hlaing meeting with Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko during a state visit to Belarus. During a meeting with Lukashenko in Minsk, General Min Aung Hlaing said the country would hold an election in December or January. The vote would be free and fair, he said, adding that 53 political parties had submitted their list to participate. We are planning to hold the election in December 2025 or by January 2026, and we will also invite observation teams from Belarus to come and observe, he told the Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko in Minsk. General Min Aung Hlaing said the Myanmar military seized power in 2021, making unsubstantiated claims of massive electoral fraud in 2020 polls won resoundly by Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy. Reports say it has since unleashed a bloody crackdown on dissent, and with fighting ravaging section of the country, it has repeatedly delayed plans for fresh polls that critics say will be neither free nor fair. The junta is struggling to crush widespread opposition to its rule from ethnic rebel groups and pro-democracy People's Defense Forces. In 2022, the junta stacked election commission announced that Suu Kyi's NLD would be dissolved for failing to re-register under a tough new military electoral law. Junta-appointed Foreign Minister Dan Sui in December told delegates from 5 neighboring countries at a meeting in Bangkok that progress was being made towards an election in 2025. The junta in January extended an already prolonged state of emergency by 6 months, eliminating the possibility of the long-promised polls until the second half of the year at the earliest. Southeast Asian foreign ministers in January told the junta to prioritize a ceasefire in its civil war over fresh elections during a meeting in Malaysia. Min Aung Hlaing told his ruling military council in January that peace and stability is still needed before the state of emergency can be lifted and polls held. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has raised the prospect of imposing large-scale U.S. sanctions on Russia, days after stopping military aid and intelligence support to Ukraine, as he calls on both countries to get on with negotiating a peace deal. Trump's threat of banking restraints and tariffs followed a Reuters report that the White House was preparing to give Russia possible sanctions relief as part of the push to end the war and improve diplomatic and economic ties with Moscow. Russian forces have almost surrounded thousands of Ukrainian troops who stormed into Russia's Kursk region last summer. An incursion Kyiv had hoped to leverage over Moscow in any peace talks. However, the president, who has drawn the U.S. closer to Moscow while heaping criticisms on Kyiv since coming into office in January, offered a more conciliatory view of President Vladimir Putin. President Trump says he believes the Russian leader wants peace. And with that, we conclude the news on NTA International at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.